What's up, guys, and welcome back to the doctor's office. I am Dr. K. Ray Knight, here to give you proper diagnosis and prognosis and everything comics and comic book characters. We're on issue 2 for Justice League Unlimited. And we're getting some surprising things going on. So as we saw in the last one, Airwave, who was actually very instrumental in the defeat of Amanda Waller, is supposed to be killing the members of the Justice League. Don't know what that's about, but sure. We also have Batman and Blue Beetle went to go help this town, and inside of their forest was this nest of fucking alien eggs, and it actually turns out, as we find out here, that those eggs were for a nest of parademons. Now, Darkseid is dead, has been annihilated. It's said multiple times in this issue, and they're all trying to figure out, we are all trying to figure out how it is that the parademons are here. But as it turns out, these parademons are berserkers, so they are just like super maniacs. They're not militia, they're not special like weapons trained or anything. They're just all fucking manic and crazy, and they are unleashed, so to speak. So Blue Beetle, it starts with Blue Beetle being dragged, screaming to Batman for help because, you know, he's being kidnapped currently. His suit is fucked up and everything. And a portal literally opens up. The team this time is Superman, Wonder Woman, Mary Marvel, Black Lightning, Dr. Occult, hello? John Jones, and I think that's it. For this one in particular, this one team and Star Sapphire, she's there as well. And I actually like that they put her back in here because she's still under training, basically hero training with Black Lightning. So wherever Black Lightning is going, Star Sapphire is also going. So that's very, very good for her. So they have this team literally as soon as they come through the transporter, boom tube, whatever it is, Superman's like, parademons, everybody attack. And Dr. Occult's like, okay, cool. Like, y'all just hit the ground running, don't you? No plan, no nothing. And he's like, well, you know, don't overthink it. These are berserker parademons, because he and John just like, how are we having parademons? Darkseid is dead. What is going on? And he's like, don't overthink it. They are berserkers. We just have to take care of them. So after they get the ones handled there, Star Sapphire, Superman, Black Lightning, and Batman are all to stay there and take care of the remaining parademons and protect the people that are there. Wonder Woman and Mary Marvel are sent into the forest to destroy the nest that's right there, and Dr. Occult and Jean are sent to go find the kids because the parademons are taking children, and they also took Blue Beetle. So he sends those two to go help track down the kids. And Jean's just like, the people need to be protected. He was like, you have telepathy, we're looking for kids, go now. The way Batman came on the scene bloodied and scratched up, and Superman's just like, what the hell happened to you? He was like, you know, this, just in a smaller space. That's what happened to me. And they took Blue Beetle, so, you know, I'm not in the mood, okay? So Mary and Wonder Woman get to the nest, and they're just like, are they dormant or what? She's like, I don't know, but we gotta figure out how to get this shit out of here. So they both go like, let's send it into space. They're weirded out by them saying it at the same time, but, you know, Diana's like, you know, speak with Assertion, girl. Assert yourself. You know what you're talking about. So while they are taking literally that entire area, because Mary Marvel says that she was going to, you know, call down a lot of lightning. However, it was going to set the forest on fire, and they weren't trying to do that. So they took that entire area, kind of like how fucking Sokovia got put in the air, and in Age of Ultron. They took that whole area where the nest is, picked it up out of the ground, and they're sending it into space. While they're doing that, a big-ass monster, that is just a big-ass parademon, shows up and grabs Mary. Wonder Woman still takes off with the nest because she can't just let it drop to save Mary. But Mary is able to take care of herself. So Mary is doing a pretty good job. Black Lightning does show up to assist her. He's like, two strikes of lightning is better than one type shit. So he gets, he assists her. Meanwhile, Dr. Occult and John Jones are sharing their admiration for each other. So, he obviously knows about Dr. Occult. And Dr. Occult's like, oh, game recognizes game, bro, because I know about you too. He was like, I'd seen that whole thing where an alien was leaving a dead scientist's office or lab, and he was like, I was following that. And he was like, well, why didn't you report me? You could have been, making a crap ton of money, and like I'd be in the lab and shit. And he was like, I mean, I would have done that if you were a threat. But immediately after all of that happened, he's like, I investigated, he had a heart attack, there was no foul play. He was like, then you took human form and started being Superman before Superman was Superman. He was like, why would I turn you in for that? No, that's crazy. And he's like, well, since we're having this talk, I feel like I should confide in you since we're together. I don't have my telepathy. My telepathy is gone. So that whole situation with Amanda Waller taking everybody's powers and people's powers getting sent back, I don't have a lot of my powers, actually. My telepathy is all but gone, and a lot of his other powers haven't returned back either. He didn't want to tell the Justice League because he didn't want to be sidelined, because John has a hero's heart, so he wants to help people. He doesn't want to be sidelined the way that Mr. Terrific is currently sidelined. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't tell them that. And he's like, I'm with you because like I know you have like sort of like magical telepathy essentially. And so he was like, had my telepathy been working, I would have been able to locate the kids ASAP, but it's not. So but they are able to find the kids. The kids, however, are behind this giant parademon. He's like, oh, it's just a parademon, they're mindless. And the parademon goes, actually not really. I'm sorry, what? So the parademon starts talking, and he's just like, on Apocalypse, there was a kind of parademon that was created that had a brain and that was able to talk and everything like that, and they were serving Darkseid and everything. And so he is still doing this, thinking that he's still serving Darkseid, even though he was technically like in exile. And Jean's like, Darkseid's dead, just FYI. And he was like, that can't be true. Darkseid got killed. And then here they start fighting, and he talks about being alone and all this other stuff, and Jean takes a real fucking offense to this and starts beating the shit out of this thing, and then turns into him and is like, this is what you look like. You are a monster. You are like going completely off the absolute fucking certified crash out. And is beating the shit out of this thing until his arm is taken by Wonder Woman's lasso, and he turns back into himself, and she's like, John, what the fuck is going on? So he's like, it's done, you can stop. She's like, Superman's like, after we get done with all of this, we're gonna have a talk, because this is not you. Like, what is happening? And he apologizes, and then he ends up leaving. And then they find out that he confided in Dr. Occult that he doesn't have any powers. He has isolated himself and turned into like a snowstorm, basically, in like this isolated place. And that is where we leave off. On top of that, they're still looking for Inferno, and they can't find any connections. And while they're looking for Inferno, and Stargirl and Mr. Terrific are talking to Red Tornado about the possibility of Inferno, and Red Tornado not finding anything about Inferno in their files, Airwave is standing outside of the door listening. So there's that's happening. Oh my goodness. So again, I really like the artwork for this issue. I do like they keep rotating the teams to do things. On top of what is happening there, we also have Ryan Choi, Ray Palmer, and Micron, who are going to go settle a situation where somebody has his abilities. So they have their machine that they've been using. They've used it 5 times, and this time would be the 6th time, so that they can get powers back to where they're supposed to go. And so they're able to get through the police officers and like kind of explain to him, like to the police officers, like what is going on exactly. And so they get through the police officers, go up to him, he grabs the machine, grabs the guy, and he starts absorbing his powers back. However, it is incredibly painful, and they tell him to gut it out because it's almost finished, and he's like, bro, what the hell, why was that so excruciating? And so the device ended up exploding. And I believe Ryan is the one who says, I mean, this worked smoother than the last 5 times, which means the people who got their powers back the last 5 times probably almost died doing so. Okay. And then they're like, well, if we're going to do this, we don't have to start from scratch, but I think we need to bring in another Atom. So I believe they're going to end up bringing in Captain Atom, just because of how his powers are. Now, how this story is going is very interesting because they do have the Atom project coming out, and that's supposed to explain what it is that they're doing on top of everything going on with other people. And I just really think that creating these spin-offs, like the Challengers Unknown also has a series. To have a bunch of things going on, which is really fun. These are really fun stories to be telling, as long as the stories are being told in a great way. I really do enjoy having the different dynamics of the different teams coming out, and using different powers. Using Mary Marvel and Wonder Woman together, I think is really fun. Using Black Lightning and Star Sapphire together to get her hero training, because she's not been a hero. Like, I think that's also an interesting dynamic between the two of them, and see how long she can keep that. So I think all of this is like really fun, different dynamics. Having Dr. Occult, oh my god, I have not seen Dr. Occult in a video, or not a video, but in a book in so long. He's definitely one of my favorite magic users. So pulling Dr. Occult into the JLU is absolutely fabulous. Putting him with John Jones was incredible because they know about each other and they are a fan of each other. And him giving John his accolades, he was like, even though you weren't as strong or as fast, you were being Superman before Superman was being Superman. That shit was incredible. I was not about to cut you off from that because I knew you were an alien. That's crazy. And then him being comfortable enough to confide in Dr. Occult about the loss of his powers. And I mean, of course, Dr. Occult had to tell them what was going on because he literally just decided to leave. So it would have been weird for him to be like, oh, I don't know why he left. That's so random and crazy. Like, why? Like, there would be no point in doing that when you could just tell them, well, basically, this is what he said. So Superman and Wonder Woman are kind of just like, I don't know why he didn't tell us. And like, he didn't tell them, he didn't feel comfortable telling them because he didn't want to be sidelined. So there's a dynamic that it's missing, to where Jean has done 2 things and kept it a secret from them. One is where he put that timer inside of Green Arrow during the whole absolute power thing, so that Green Arrow could do what he did, going deep undercover the way that he did, and then keeping the fact that he lost most of his abilities during that whole situation as well, which I'm not really sure why they would think that he didn't, but I thought that he did. But I also thought that he got his powers back. So him being one of the ones who didn't get all of his powers back is kind of intense, and it speaks to like how not really connected he is to his powers, because he was still willing to be out in the field without them, and he was trying to help the people, but he was like, you have telepathy and we're looking for children. I mean, I want to help the kids, but I don't have telepathy. So he went with somebody who he knows does. So like, it was still like the critical thinking skills there, but also what is making you so uncomfortable that you can't tell this team that you've been with for years that you also lost your powers, because they would have been working double, triple time to get you your powers back because you're part of the main roster. So hopefully we do get the answer to that. Like, I definitely want to hear how he came to be so uncomfortable with telling them these things, because it seems to be so easy for you right now, and it's kind of weird. Like, are you seeing something that they're not seeing? Are you knowing something that they're not knowing? You know what I mean? Because, and I also think that this has like to do with that situation with Airwave as well, because if he had his telepathy, I think he would have known that someone on the ship, Airwave, was planning on killing the Justice League. And I feel like when all of that stuff was happening during Absolute Power, his didn't get taken away in the normal sense, because I want to say Airwave was with Jean during Absolute Power. I really want to say that, because Red Tornado wasn't like completely destroyed at that point, not yet. And he was before he was made the eyes and ears as part of the Watchtower, he was still out in the field too. So I'm wondering if all of that happened kind of while he was there. You know what I mean? Something weird is going on, and I think because they know that Jean is like their most powerful telepath, that they had to take him out first. I love this. This is so much fun. This is so much fun. This is everything that I really, really, truly wanted it to be when it came to Justice League Unlimited, because Justice League Unlimited is one of my favorite cartoon shows coming out of the DC animated universe, and I wanted this comic book to do that justice, and it absolutely is. It went the long way around with Absolute Power, okay, but we got here. We definitely got here, because you have to have a reason to get all of the heroes together, and so I think Absolute Power did a really good job of that. Tell me what you think. That's it, honestly, for me, for this episode. I do have the audio podcast coming out. It'll be available literally everywhere: Apple, Spotify, Google, everything. And if you haven't gotten the book, please do. And that is it for this episode of The Doctor's Office, and I will see you guys at your next checkup.